Hello, 7th and 8th grade Florida violinist, and congratulations on taking the time to hopefully grow using this instructional video that is designed as a supplement to the instruction you're already receiving on All State preparation. Today we're going to be discussing Wolfart Etudes number 46 and 47, which are only part of your All State audition. There's also included scales and sight reading, which are very important. I'd like to start by recommending some steps to prepare any piece of music that's new to you. The idea behind these steps is to lay a good foundation so you can soar later. In any new piece of music, I recommend starting slowly with separate bows to make sure you've got to hold the notes and that your fingers are relaxed, your left hand is relaxed especially, and finding those notes and knowing exactly where to go. So for Etude number 46, it would start like this. You may not know, but YouTube has an embedded feature that allows you to slow down any video and any tempo. So if you need help hearing these notes, you can slow down my video of this etude. Instructions for how to do that are included on the worksheet with this tutorial. After I found all the notes and the fingerings that work for me, the next step is to work on the connections between the notes. And I do this with an exercise I call the grace note exercise. I'm going to demonstrate it on the first 4 notes of a G major scale, which would normally sound like this. But if I want to work on connecting the relationships between the notes in my left hand especially, I repeat each note as a grace note to the next note, slurred into the next note. So on Wolfart 46, it would sound like this. That step can be tricky, but if you can figure it out, it's really useful in laying a great foundation for your left hand. The next step is something I like to use in any passages that involve a lot of slurs, such as this etude. I recommend doing the same bowings as written, but with a clear start to each note. This helps us work on bow distribution and, again, clarity of our left hand. After that, you're ready to do the slurs as written. First, slowly. You may want to use rhythms if you're working with your teacher on that, and then slowly speed it up. I'd like to draw out one concept in this particular etude, and that is Wolfart's use of neighbor tones. So if you're working on intonation, which is very important for All State preparation, it can be helpful to recognize which notes are part of the chord and which notes are decorating the chord. So let me just take, the first 2 measures of the Wolfart 46. I'm going to play the first note of each trip, and let's see what happens. It's a lot less complicated, isn't it? It's just an A major arpeggio. But if we're tuning to, for example, to a drone, which is another wonderful tool, we won't discuss it a lot, but I'll demonstrate. If we're tuning to a drone, we're going to use an A because this is an A major arpeggio. And we'll tune first with the main notes and then add the decorations. for decorations. And so on. Wolf art number 47, I recommend starting the same way with separate bows, grace notes, stop bows, and then slurs. What's wonderful about this etude is it's a beautiful melody. So I also recommend singing this one quietly to yourself, not only to get the notes, but to get the mood. I think it's got kind of a soulful mood. But the concept that I'd like to draw out in this etude, etude number 47, it's present in many etudes, but it's, I think, pretty important to playing this one beautifully, is learning to have beautiful shifts. As a general rule, with rare exceptions, every shift should be smooth and slow and from the previous finger. Let me show you what I mean by previous finger. Let's look at bar 3 of Wolf art, etude number 47. You start that bar in first position on the first finger. And then the second note is third position in third finger. If we're talking about the previous note, we're talking about the first note involved in the shift. So we've got a 1 and a 3, but the previous note is the 1. So secretly, in good shifts, there's a process where we shift on the first finger and then switch to the second finger. A previous finger and then switch to the second finger. So in this case, we would be doing the shifting from first to third on the first finger, in which case we would end up with a G if we were to play that. So the shift is actually here. Right? And then is the result we get. Not that we have to hear that note when we play in performance, but practicing it can lead to a better, more beautiful shift that can help this soulful melody. It's also important to make your shifts smooth. And one of my favorite exercises for helping us with this is called ghost fingers. And it comes from the idea that most of our shifts are not smooth because we're squeezing in some way or holding tightly. Maybe there's just too much friction. So we take it out as best we can, make sure our hands are clean and dry, and then we play so lightly, everything light, including our thumb, that it sounds like a ghost. Yes, I really recommend practicing this way, maybe away from others so you don't drive them crazy. But I think if you go through the initial steps of preparation and also practice all of your shifts with ghost fingers and Wolf art number 47, you will grow. And that is my definition of success for an audition, is that you grow, regardless of the result of the audition. So I wish you success and growth as a violinist and a person.